You're always on the side and bigger than you should be. Terrible. Just terrible. Okay. What up? I'm guessing this is English. Oh, it's French.
Come in from Michelin,
Alright.
which is always nice to see the width, the breadth, and the variety of motorsport enthusiasm. You might earn your living in sports car racing or touring car racing or single seaters, but so many guys who love this because they love mechanical things, love all sorts of motorsports and planes, trains, and automobiles and everything else in between. There's the glamour of the mechanic's job, Alan.
Okay, I gotta confirm the fix that I applied with the body kits actually working.
Here because we talk about downforce, but it's the efficiency of downforce, and on the nose of the cart, and also the front leading edge of rear wing, as we're seeing the Dempsey Proton Racing's Porsche GTE AM car. The front leading edge of the rear wing, those are two things you want to try to keep clean, because ultimately it does create drag, but it also reduces downforce as well. One of the Aston Martins that was actually quickest in GTE Pro this morning in the first session, and it's obviously had a little bit of a rub on the left front. There was a small little tyre mark.
Suzuki Nakajima in the number 8 Toyota, getting ready to head out. New driver.
Yeah, looks like it's applied correctly.
Of the last 2 Le Mans 24 hours is Brendan Hart. It's a long way back, isn't it? Kind of super season we had 24 hours in what was, quote, then the longest season ever. This is the longest gap between Le Mans 24-hour races, and it's still in the same season that started back in September 2019. We're still in that season, and that's going to continue to December, so it's actually going to be longer than super season was.
Alright, so something that's missing. Better look at.
A 24-hour race to come up. It's going to be part of what is going to be a hard-fought World Championship for a lot, especially in this category, GTE Pro, Graham, because we've seen every single player in that. There's 8 cars in it, but every single one of them has been in the fight and winning races all the way through.
Shit, what am I doing?
You see for the GTE Pro teams, the balance of performance has been pretty much spot on for most of the season. Wheel-to-wheel, door-to-door, and often closer than that action at every single race. We've got those two. Well, you know, the two wild cards, if you like. Risi Competizione.
What's the random suggestion?
Good here. Always bring a car that is spotlessly prepared. That will be an interesting one. The other car in GT Pro, that is a real wild card. That's WeatherTech Racing. They've decided to come to GT Pro. for reasons of deciding they wanted to determine who was going to be in that car. So it's going to be silver driver, a gold gold driver, and a platinum driver, and they think that gives them some advantages in terms of driver time. We shall see.
Well, they've got Tony Villander in that car, and he's certainly going to be one that will be relishing the challenge of that.
Feisty is his middle name. It's great to see him back here. A man that's, of course, won here in class before. Good shot here of the other of the two Porsche GT Pro cars, the matte red coloured car. And if you were tuning in earlier in the year to Virtual Le Mans, you recognise that livery, because the liveries on the 91 and 92 cars are basically exactly the same, with one important difference to the cars that were presented in virtual form by Porsche. The one difference is there is a tribute to the 1970 winning Porsche 917, 50 years and a couple of months ago.
Yeah. The year after the last September Le Mans, which of course was back in 1969, and the 1970 race is famed particularly because of what feature of the starting procedure.
The first one where we did not have the drivers running across the track.
It was the first one that didn't feature running across the track. That was in 1969.
Alright,
Jackie
vehicles.
sauntered, trying to look calm and hoping to God he wasn't going to get hit by somebody starting quickly, and then ended up winning in the GT40, the closest finished ever. But in 1970, they did away with that for safety reasons, and it featured the only ever
Generate vehicles
engines of standing
qualified.
starts for Le Mans, and that is what many people still think
Let's
starts
see.
are, because it was featured in
Generate body kit. This should be part of this.
the only time that starting procedure was ever used. In 71 they did a rolling start, which we use since.
Yeah.
And the reason that they stopped the running start is that drivers were herring off and some of them
Vehicle spec
didn't do their
class.
seatbelts up, and for safety reasons that was
Get
developed
custom
not to be
vehicle,
pushed.
generate exchange. No. Check get custom specs in class. And then this is gonna get a custom car, it's gonna modify it to class. And then I gotta add upgrade random vehicle spec. And this is where I have to add the body, where it's gonna to dot upgrade random body spec, I guess. Okay, so I need something like this for body parts.
Well, now there's a set of overalls that we are likely to see a little bit more of. Peugeot Sport. Well, there is a lot of news coming out in the last 10 or so days, or has been a lot of news coming out. I guarantee there's going to be more from the virtual press conference that the ACO will hold tomorrow. That Peugeot Sport are already starting to make noises about returning to the top tier of racing at Le Mans, which will be very entertaining indeed.
What if we renamed both the Super and Celeste to the Celeste Super, rather to the... What do you mean both? And I think when you mean Super, you mean the Ultra, right? Which is the Super based car.
F2 champion Nick de Vries, and recently appointed as the test and development driver for Toyota.
Right. So what do you mean both of them?
Program for the 2021 season. This is the last time here at Le Mans we're going to see these monstrous LMP1 hybrids. What a fantastic era that has been.
So what? They're both named the same then?
For the TS050 Toyotas, Bahrain. Dragon Speed, one of a number of two-car LMP2 teams here.
And one of a number of teams that have come in from Michelin Le Mans Cup and from the European Le Mans Series, where they've been cutting their teeth for the
It could
last
be.
few years. We've got two teams in LMP2 who come from Michelin Le Mans Cup who have never raced an LMP2 car. So for both of those teams, it is going to be all about learning ferociously quickly and desperately trying to get a finish above all else out of this. For some teams, like the Judges Sport team, like G-Drive here, they're regular winners. They understand the cars, the discipline of Le Mans, of the cars themselves in LMP2, and they will be right on the money from the very start. And LMP2 is a an expanded field as well. There are a lot of 24 cars in LMP2, so it is a massive entry and hugely competitive. And GTE AM has kind of exploded this year as well, both in terms of depth and the quality of the field as ever. It's just getting
Let's see, do I have a list? Do I have a list of body parts? No, I do not. So I'm gonna have to manually get that information. What is it? There it is. A shit ton.
That Martin was just describing. This is the number 61 car. This is the Lutic Racing Enter car, one of, as we said a little earlier in the show, number of AF Corsa assisted cars, as are the 3 Iron Lynx cars. This is a team that got another late entry, so 3 Iron Lynx cars, Italian brand, and this, the 85 pink livery car, different number for those that are more familiar with the European Le Mans series, but the 85 car is the Iron Dames car. The Iron Dames car with Rahel Fry, Michel Gatting, Manuel Augusta. 35 car here is one of the 3 Ligier chassis in LMP2. This is the Eurasia Motorsport car, the car coming out of the Asian Le Mans series, though they have raced here before and in the European Le Mans series, but great to see them back at Le Mans with a stunningly liveried car.
Yeah, that's not based on everybody's pest of the summer, is it? Liveried like a wasp, never popular. And the Jumbo Supermarkets Racing Team Netherlands car, as ever. Frits van Aert, the boss of Jumbo Supermarkets, he's the man who's put this team together. And their little Racing Team Netherlands badge you can see there, based on his favourite Formula 1 team, Minardi.
Celebrate 2 last Le Mans for the Rebellion Racing Team. What a fine history they've had here. 2 cars they bring here for their last planned appearance at Le Mans at the moment. And another returnee. In fact, 2 returnees here. One is the
God damn it, what is
the,
this?
I
Shit.
think, livery,
Front,
but also
hood,
one of the drivers, Hurst Filpermeyer
front,
Jr.
F,
Coming back to this race for the first time since 2011.
roof,
and commemorating in fine fashion his father, Hurst Filpermeyer Sr. passed away earlier this year.
Well, 20 years ago, the Felbermeyers, Horst Senior and Junior, and Gerald and Christian Reed were both run by Proton Competition, weren't they? They were. And the Felbermeyer
rear
with that blue
B
livery.
and
Nice
rear F. I got that. Okay.
Christian Reed with the Proton Competition team, with Dempsey Proton as well, are here. So, keeping that circle going, and it's nice to see that the stalwart privateer teams over the last 2 decades of GT racing are still involved.
And that's going to continue. 4 cars here for the Proton Competition family, and they've already got in the garage
grade -1 new body kits, intake, air.
Next year they'll be starting testing on those cars
put
in the coming
these.
couple of weeks, and then we'll start to hear from Christian and his crews what their plans are for 2021. There is no lack of enthusiasm for the future of endurance racing, and after what we're going to hear tomorrow, that's only going to be boosted even
Okay, how do I do this?
First few laps out on track.
God damn it, I have to get the properties.
Full Le Mans field, and now into free practice 2, this 3-hour session. It is another
Where's generate body kits? Where is this?
sunny day, but look at the leaves around the track. That is a first visual indicator that it is not high summer, but it is actually
there's a lot.
autumn. And actually, if the wind starts to pick up, all of those early fallen leaves are going to be a bit of a factor. Just saw the Toyota going down through the S's. Track is still pretty green. The Toyota is definitely skating around at both ends, so need to get some rubber down on this track. Don't forget, there's only been cars on track since 8 this morning. We should normally be a full day of track activity in by now.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course the airflow from these cars isn't going to help those leaves to hang on very much longer, is it either? This morning, quickest car and quickest driver was Kazuki Nakajima, and then number 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing TSO 50 Hybrid, a 3:21.656, the quickest time in LMP1. LMP2, that fastest lap time went the way of the high-class racing car and Kenta Yamashita, the reigning Super GT champion, another one of those champions. He went through this morning with a 3:29.9. 1:08.73. We'll get to the GT times when we get to talking about those classes, Martin.
Well, that
This is generate. I guess it's just say random.
thousandths of a second, over a 13
Random.
kilometer lap.
Generate.
Quicker than
Random.
Racing Team Netherlands, the quickest time set in that car by
Okay. And then we have one that's more performance-based generation.
Were 33 hundredths apart.
So
3/10 of a second between car number 8 and car number 7. Of course, car number 8, Sebastian Buemi, Kazuki Nakajima going for a hat trick of wins. Does that mean they get to keep the cars and the trophies and the pit building and everything?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna just copy these
I'll check the rule
instead.
book on that one later.
Oh no, where did I get the other list from? Fuck. I don't even know. Alright, for each part,
666, that's the reset number.
get
The beast, obviously.
prefab,
I like
right?
the
Yeah.
button top right there, not the pit radio. The one that
Okay.
just says kill, kill, kill. I'm assuming that's kill all the electronics and you know emergency panic, but you sort of hope it's like for missiles or something. There you go, top right,
Yeah.
bright red, kill.
Is it me? I've never noticed it before, but when we hear him again,
Okay.
we all talk about phone voices, don't we?
Yeah.
Has
But I have to
Verstappen
do that
got a slightly
for
different
each-
accent to his radio voice? 'Cause I
But
think
each
he did.
part I pick,
Well, what you get here is not only a good idea of just how enclosed the driver is with
Right.
high cockpit sides,
Part
with
to
surround
modify.
and everything. You've got a good view there.
Part
That
to modify
screen that said green
count,
on it,
new
that is the safety system used by
instance.
race control. There's one of those screens in every single car,
Create
and it'll tell them
new
when they're in a green flag zone, a yellow
instance.
flag zone, if there's a slow zone coming up, if there's a safety car, a red flag. Black and white flag being applied to their car will show in the car, and the race director can tell them which turn number they are exceeding track limits on and being watched for, and so on. So it's a real step forward in terms of
In Car Eduardo.
yeah, well, and drivers being aware of things that they can't necessarily see and that the team may not be able
Good
to radio
fender
about.
FL.
So
I should say, by the way, this morning's free practice
Thunder
session,
FL.
we had 174 of the 177 drivers here
Rooftop.
this weekend have already turned laps.
Rooftop.
Moment, of course, this point in, Alan.
And there was
Roof
also,
lip.
Graham, some that had to do the obligatory minimum number of laps, which normally is done at a test day where you have to do 10 laps. So some drivers that haven't been to this circuit before, because of the nature of the track, it's kind of a bit unforgiving. Then you normally have to have a half day on the simulator, which is near Paris, and then you also have to have 10 laps, which can be throughout the day, don't have to be consecutive, which is done at the test day. However, with no
Also,
test
guys, we're
day,
very
that
close
has
to
be done
renaming
or has to be done
our
today
studio,
prior to the qualifying. And there's a few
because
drivers that,
Phasmophobia
were
is
to
getting
actually
really
turn their first
popular
laps here.
lately.
Absolutely, the only three drivers, by the way, that didn't turn laps this
And
morning, all those
I'm getting
drivers
messages
who
from
in
people
recent years, they were.
on our Facebook for Kinetic Games looking and asking about Phasmophobia.
Last year, as did Jules, by the way, this time in the 70s.
White Rock Studios.
Who's had multiple starts in LMP2 and GP. It's the only garage.
yeah, talking
That's
about
good.
the pros, let's talk about who was quickest. Well, Aston Martin went 1-2, 97 ahead of 95. 97 is Maxime Martin, Alex Lynn and Harry Tinknell, late of the Ford Parish. And 95 is the Dane train, so Nicky Team at Marco
Fender
Sorensen
RL.
and renowned Dane
Fender.
Richard Westbrook from
I'd skirt
Bath,
Fender RL.
Bath in Denmark.
Fender RL.
A, of course, a third and fourth, 51-71. Those are their regular championship teams, ahead of Ricci's number 82 and the WeatherTech 83 car. Ricci with Ollie Pla, Sebastian Bourdais and Jules Gounon. And WeatherTech with Cooper McNeil, who's the WeatherTech affiliate there, Tony Villander and Jeff Seagal. So the Porsches were the Lanterne Rouge at the tail of the field. There is your Spa 24-hour race winner, Jules Gounon. And so Michael Christensen, Kevin Estre teamed up with Lawrence Vantor. And Jimmy Bruni, Richard Leeds teamed with Fred Makavicki in 91.
Long lingering shot of another of the teams that have got to this race by dint of achievements last season. Number 11 Euro International, the reigning ELMS LMP3 champions. But that's a team with a history here that goes back into the 90s and back into the days of the Ferrari 333. Back in the days, Antonio Ferrari, the team principal, their grandson of Enzo Ferrari.
So we watch the Nielsen.
Sorry.
Great.
Sorry, we watch
Okay.
Nielsen Racing coming through and dipping down. The car behind it.
Alright, pickle
is
random
actually
one.
just on
Okay,
quickest
so
lap. The
now.
third overall in the LMP2 car, a
Oh man, for
3:27.84,
everyone?
2
You
seconds
gotta be
quicker
kidding
than,
me.
what was achieved this morning.
Fuck.
And, we
Unless
know
I do it
Nick is
before.
very quick,
I
and
can
it's
do
not
it
just
beforehand.
because his name rhymes with quick, but,
I can
they're
do it
really
beforehand.
pushing, and I would say that it's
Like
going
I
to be a
did
pretty good
here.
battle, Graham, because you've also got the
Okay.
Goodyear runners as well as we see here.
Okay, so I got the
with a couple of
part.
the Jackie Chan DC Racing and Jota cars.
We're looking at
I could
a little
look.
bit of rehearsal of what the teams are doing coming in out of the pits, but also with race
Okay, so I got the
direction
prefab.
preparing to throw a slow zone at Marshall's post
But I don't have the
29.
I don't have the vehicle spec
So, which
information.
is 2.9 kilometers in, so that's around Tete Rouge, isn't it? Maybe down towards the first chicane.
Okay, so I need
Yeah, it's about first.
I need the vehicle spec.
So then
You've obviously never ran this circuit.
I very nearly did yesterday, but sleep was more important.
But we let you back in the car.
Oh wait, where's that?
It's a bit bumpy coming into there, and you're also carrying a lot of speed, and you need to have a very, very good turning, and you need a
What the
sharp front
fuck?
end.
Get
And but it's a little
go to
bit twitchy.
definition.
It's okay for one lap. They're
Okay,
second
get
overall
custom
actually
vehicle
in,
spec.
the LMP2 category. That's
Modify
SOS
object to
and it's Charles
class.
Milesi at the wheel. But
Okay,
it's not
random
something you would want
upgrade,
that car
random
balanced for 24 hours. You want
vehicles
to try and get that
back.
settled down so the front. It's not that the rear needs to be more stable. It's the front
10,
needs to be slightly
9,
less
8,
direct
7,
on that first initial
6,
point.
5,
Data dot
3,
upgrade.
2, 1.
Random body spec.
Slow zone 8 is enforced. Slow zone
Those who
8
know
is
what the
enforced.
inside of race control normally looks like, you heard the voice of Eduardo Freitas. He was the gentleman with the glasses, and sitting a little closer to us on the left-hand side, the nameplate says Lisa Whiteheart. Well, Lisa.
Oh, it just took took the whole spec sheet. Yeah.
That is not Lisa Weishart, who is his.
And then this should be. Oh wait.
And,
Yeah. Okay. And then this. Where's this?
slow zone there, which goes through Marshall's post 30 and 33.
Okay.
The posts are named. Supposed to be named after how many kilometers they are into.
Alright,
the
and I
track.
also I need the
It's now saying that there is a
model
slow
ID.
zone through the Porsche curves.
I could just add it as a string, really.
Like Marshall's post 100 or something.
Let's see. Vehicle
However,
spec
that's what you
dot
see
model
as
ID.
a slow zone. You have
Then
to
I
come
go
down
here,
within 5
add
seconds
string
of
arguments,
the pink
model
it's full course yellow. You have to come down to 80
ID.
kilometers an hour before you hit the slow zone line. So there'll be a little.
Nope,
there is
didn't
a
fucking mean to
next
press
slow
open.
zone,
Fuck.
which is where you decelerate.
Nope, cancel.
One Master's
Save.
post the next, and then you hit the slow zone line 80 kilometers an hour until you pass out of the sector where you get green flags, and then you can pick up to speed again. So it's a way of dealing with localized problems that don't neutralize the rest of the track.
One quick point, Alan's absolutely correct, by the way. Charles Milesi in the So24 Hatchback Graph 39 car is indeed
Snappily named.
absolutely second
Okay,
quickest
so all I have to
in
do is get the
LMP2, but
prefab,
to show how quick at the
like
moment
that.
Nick de Vries is, 5 seconds slower than Nick
Just
de Vries
use model
today
ID,
is the second,
like so,
is the gap in class right now.
and then
Here are
get list of
Here are
parts
our leaders in the European Le Mans Series. Top
like
class,
this.
that is LMP2. United Autosports number 22 car has won the last 2 races there, Spa and their second trip to the
Oops,
Castellet.
like that.
They were
Oops,
on the podium
fuck.
the first trip as well. It was a 1-2,
God damn it.
23 ahead of 22.
Like that.
That car, Phil Hansen, Felipe Albuquerque, won their
Nope,
third
didn't mean to
seconds
do that
to
either.
remove the slow zones.
race at Spa.
15
Just a
seconds
few
to
weeks
remove
ago,
slow
the
zones.
weekend before we were there with World Endurance.
So that team now
10,
3 consecutive
9,
wins in the
8,
World Endurance Championship,
7,
3 consecutive
6,
wins in
5,
the
4,
Log.log, and then I'm just gonna log
1.
debug list.
Slow zones removed. Slow
Back to
zones
green.
removed.
3 consecutive wins in ELMS, one of which was 32 at the start of the race and the season, and then
Okay,
into dominant form thereafter.
surprised this doesn't have this yet.
To watch them going about their work, even after a strategic error at Paul Ricard, the drivers did an astounding job in pretty ropey conditions.
Well, less a strategic error, but more a gamble that didn't
fair enough.
quite
That's
go
fair.
their way. It was a wet to dry
Okay,
race.
and then
They put Phil Hansen out
I
on
guess
the
I could
slicks,
just
left him out
random
on the slicks, long
it
dip
like
ahead.
this. List of
They might
parts.
ideally have liked to have done. Worth pointing out, of
And
course, third driver in that
well, I
car,
can't get the part
another big
ID.
fan of the Tunnocks is
Or can I? And then what do I do with the ID? Get body part data?
stints in that car as
Okay.
well. 3 drivers mandatory for
Yeah,
all
and
of
then
these
do
cars
what I
in the
do for
prototype
the other
class,
one.
and if you've got any sense whatsoever, you won't try
Like
and make
that.
2 drivers do 24 hours in a hot closed GT
And then
car
switch
either.
part, and then I'm just
Glorious to
gonna
see in-car
do
as the car came through Tet Rouge
do
there
this.
and onto Hinaudière. As Nakajima runs across to the
Ah man, I should have just copied that from the beginning.
So far,
Didn't
on
have to
board
type
the
it all
92
out.
Porsche, which was second slowest or 7th fastest. I'm not sure how you'd skin that particular one if you're a Porsche PR person.
good opportunity there to see just how quickly that LMP1 accelerates away from what is a very rapid GT car, Alan.
But the thing that was interesting for me was if you saw the speed delta in the middle of the chicane actually wasn't that much. The GT cars have got a heck of a lot of grip in that medium and low speed environment, and it's only really on the acceleration and the very high speed sections like Indianapolis and Porsche where the LMP cars are significantly quicker in corner apex speed.
Yeah. When we get
Vehicle
into the race proper,
specs.
one of the cars
Dots,
that
body
most certainly have is
kit
that punch out the corners,
specs.
the ability to punch through traffic
Replace.
is going to be a key one,
Replace,
particularly
replace,
if we
replace,
do get
replace,
mixed conditions,
replace,
which
replace,
looks like they're going to be
replace,
predicted.
replace,
In terms of pure lap time, not a huge amount, I'd have thought here now between the Rebellions and the Toyotas.
Well,
I
now
think
the thing that Toyota were looking
Oh,
forward to,
let me
Alan,
actually
is that
change
they
that actually.
lose all of that sort of
To
performance
just body kit
inhibiting
specs.
weight
Fuck.
and reduction of power and so on that they've had
There
in
you
World
go.
Endurance, and they get
Okay.
full
Now you
spec
can
car
replace.
back. So that's particularly the drivers are looking forward to having a car that behaves as it does.
I think the bigger factor is the performance over 24 hours, their ability to actually deliver a consistent performance over that period of
Okay.
time. Partly because they've run this technology
Create new
for such a long
instance,
time now.
get
They've
information
developed it,
of
they
the
understand
lists,
it,
the list
they've
of
now
cars,
the finite
parts,
details
and
of it
then
as opposed to necessarily
pick a
any
part,
major sort of breakthroughs.
and then
And
give
that
me a
means
debug
that, you know, it's
of
usually
what you
s-
did,
it's
get the body
it's not
part
very often
data,
that
give
they'll
me
have
a
failures,
debug of what you
but
selected,
sometimes you do have
get the ID for the
Something from
part,
we've
and then
seen,
apply
we
it to
saw
the
that
part.
massive period of
Okay,
development
I think
with
this
LMP1
should
hybrids in
work.
the Audi, Porsche, Toyota era. Massive gains
And then this is
made in
rambling,
terms
gonna
of
pick
the
one of these to
ability
improve.
actually
hold on.
Ooh, I should do one for tires
That's
as
your
well. That'd be
international
interesting.
number 11 car that
I think that would
we
make a
praised
bigger
so highly
impact.
earlier on. Actually, I was admiring the bodywork of that. So, who is at the wheel of that car?
What are roof flicks? So they're like the roof spoilers.
And he's just got his
I have to
nose that
differentiate
looks like
them
it could be
because
down
in the
near,
game some
our
roofs
dash corner.
might be on the hatch and some are like on the physical body.
Two Ligiers in the LMP2
So I have to
class.
name it
Ligier
in
goes
such a
basically
way
to
so that
free.
it can decide. Some fancy stuff is going on. I don't remember what I wrote, but
Let's hear from Lawrence Van Toor.
I couldn't just put spoiler because then it would try to remove the entire. I forgot why I did that, but there was a reason. I couldn't just use spoiler for all of them because it wouldn't work. Because like the way that game objects are attached, like the louvers. Wait, no, spoiler. Yeah, so
Gentlemen, professional racing driver.
And you get a
is
professional
this?
download, don't you? How is the car? You know, that
Been
is
checking
the
this for a
most
while,
open
but is this
question
a
there is, and
personal
he's just saying,
project
yeah,
or a company
we talked
project?
about that and that. That's
That's
not much
you could say it's
change.
both.
We need to work on that still. So, you know, that's a constant update,
Um,
and you can do that in engineering briefings till the cows
you
come
could say it's
home.
both.
The driver's out on the track and the things are fresh
This is part of my
in his
business.
mind, then you can start
Currently
to
earning
get see
negative
leaves blowing
profit,
all over
but
the place. This side
we have
of
0 employees, so technically
never
we're fine.
Although
So
the 92 car are only defending champions as the 11 car gets away. That was indeed a nice corner. Well done, Alan.
good spot. Alan knows his tyre barriers.
He does. Sorry. The 92 car, the only one of our defending
I'm
champions. with the
technically
Brewers
paying
race
myself
last
for
year.
this. I'm investing into this. I saved enough money to take a few months off.
The lollipop man is
So,
so
yeah,
busy
keep
trying to
being
win
an eye on
everyone
it.
that he spears one of the commissaires
Yeah.
with his lollipop.
That was Antonio for
If it wasn't for my savings, I wouldn't be able to survive this long.
Didn't seem like there is very much damage. 33 high class racing. This is the car that was fastest of all in the first free practice session.
Yeah, the
thanks
$3
to
Patreon life.
Japanese Toyota prodigy Kenta Yamashita sharing with Mark Patterson. who is old enough to be his dad,
Significantly so.
and Anders Fjordbach, who ditto is old enough to be his dad. And those two actually, Mark Patterson and Anders Fjordbach. Fjordbach particularly, lots of experience with high class. Mark Patterson has raced here in prototypes.
Yeah, that.
I wonder if anybody has raced here with more teams.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy that experience.
Yes, yes.
Manocolard in his 24th start here at Le Mans.
With what, 23 different teams.
Absolutely, it would have been 23 last year, and that's a problem for the 85 L?
Yeah, this is the Iron Dames, one of 3 Iron Links for
Right.
Manuela Gosner, Rahel Frey, and Michelle Gatting.
Yeah, going slowly, but nothing apparent. That just doesn't seem.
Is that what
puncture's not down
the
on
affiliate is?
particular
Because
corner
I read
that
that and it
was able to
says
see there.
50 followers required. I have no idea what affiliate is for Twitch. I don't know what that is or what it's for.
It looks like something's gone into limp home mode, doesn't it?
Something's right, and there's the 11 back into the pits. That was the car we saw off at Arnage Corner. Adrian Tombe at the wheel, son of the legendary Patrick. Yes, thank you very much, Patrick Tombe.
And of course, Michelle Gatting, son of England, daughter of England cricketer, Mike. No.
And also there's the 38 going quite slowly. That's on an out lap, which is Anthony Davidson at the wheel. We saw him in the pits, but he's going slowly and very much offline.
And weaving. I think he thinks something's loose on that car.
Yeah. Well, they were working on the front, weren't they? Looked like I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, whatever's in the
Interesting.
in the pedal box. So they're working on something there, and this is his out lap, and he's obviously not entirely happy. So he's nudged the tyres, the Euro International car, not significantly, but that's probably a 40,000 euro splitter up the Swanee, isn't it?
So I'm about to run this code and I have no idea what's gonna happen. Still kind of limited, but still a good system. But I've been earning at least some stuff from it. XD.
Work going on that number 1
Okay.
rebellion. And the bicolors, by the way, being backed in too. And off the track, actually, the Ford chicane in front of us is the sister rebellion.
Custom.
But regaining the track number 3.
What am I doing? Modify, yes. And then go random, okay. Calculate max, okay. I need to get rid of the random body kit one. I don't even think I need that because,
And so, Mr. Delatraz, in this
well,
car, what is his biggest success of the year so far?
He won at
well,
the virtual Le Mans.
moves.
There you go.
However, that's nothing to
I
say
don't know
that
what
he
that
can't
means.
actually defeat
Is it
defeat
giving
here coming
you shit, so
September,
it'll
November,
either do
that
nothing
one.
or implode?
That would be a hell of a story.
It's just about
winning Le Mans
visual.
in June and winning Le Mans in September.
But having watched him in the
That would
junior
make-
categories of F3 and F2 and things, then, you know, he's definitely a very capable driver. I know his father extremely well because I used to race against him.
Yep.
He was much older than I was,
But-
obviously. But I have to say that the son is a chip off the old block and a very, very fast chip as well.
Absolutely. We've got to mention, but we talked about Adrian Tombe back some time ago, and Adrian didn't race here in the car.
I don't know.
Raced, I believe,
Where did I
at
put that
Daytona
piece of?
in
Okay.
the Bugatti
Random
10 back in the 90s.
body
And
kit.
was
Patrick. Adrian was definitely
No,
too
no.
young to
Oh,
race an
current
EV110.
project.
dinner with no less a person, well, someone Alan will know very well, Dieter Gash from Audi, who told
Okay.
me he was
Here it
working
is.
on that program. We were both trying to remember which famous driver.
Okay. I gotta cancel this code.
When reminded by Adrian
And
sitting
then-
next to him that it was his dad.
Alright, I gotta load in now. Just
Well,
check.
Adrian was probably
We'll grab some food and then getting ready for the Cold War Open beta. But yeah, looking forward to see this evolve. Alright, thanks for stopping by.
23 cars sweeping down into Esses de la Chapelle. 22 car, there you go. It was a 50-50 guess, wasn't it? And I guessed the wrong way. So Phil Hansen, Philippe Albuquerque and Paul de Resta. We saw Albuquerque sitting patiently at the wheel at the beginning of the session, waiting to be released.
Okay.
And,
What I'm looking
he's
for
at the
is
wheel of the car at
the
moment.
debug log and for
When we get to, in fact, talking now, there's the
modified cars. Let me just see.
I think the last addition to the grid,
Okay.
the 16 car.
Nothing modified about that. I think it might. I think I might have skipped it. It's like,
So again, he can't do it in the same class either, can he? Because he won in the GT class.
okay, that's me.
He's not in the
Alright, the only things I could actually tell are the SCs, but I don't see anything right now. Okay, let me check.
David Bravo?
Let me check debug.
He's not here though. He's not here.
Parts.
Danny Dalmas didn't do it. He did it overall or not at all.
Parts available. Okay, SC1, rooftop, OEM stock. Okay, that's just one. C1, stock, available for SC2. Just one. Why did you pick one? Unless it's not long enough to display the whole thing. SC2. Where's the code?
There are certain colours on that 911 that shrink it and make it look narrower, but a solid colour, you see what
I don't know. I'm gonna investigate that later.
Good in a solid nose colour.
On board now with the 36 Signatech Alpine car, and this has provided, I think it's fair to say, gentlemen, endurance racing world with one of its very best.
Why is it only showing one? What the fuck? Alright, now this shows multiple. Okay, hold on. Is this changing? Am
We're
I...
going to do 2 runs of new tyres, so a 4-lap run,
I hope
which is
not.
2 timed laps, 1 out lap, 2 timed, and then 1 in, and then 3 timed laps would be the next one. TC traction control, just holding back on the new tyre. You can basically reduce it right down, and it just lets the car, it lets it run. It's think of it a little bit like, you know, if you've got the reins held tight on a horse, or just let it run, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want it to catch the snaps, but you don't want it to hold everything for you. Certainly not on that new tyre run. Once you get into a race run, then that's a slightly different story.
Yeah, and late into the session for the 36
Why is it
car,
doing
I
it
would say
separately?
one of the
Why
best
is it
pieces of
doing
news we've
that?
had since
What the
the lockdown months, which is that
Why
Signatech
can't you
Alpine
just
stepped
get...
up to the top class.
Oh, wait, no. It's picking...
With a rebellion,
Ah, okay. It's one for
so
each
with
thing,
Rebellion Racing
not
leaving,
everything.
At least one of those cars will stay active in grandfather form against
I see what it's doing.
cars,
Okay.
but as it comes next season.
Parts available
Sport,
for...
lots of good
Then I
news.
gotta put part...
Martin was saying earlier in the show, tomorrow.
Yellow flags out at Marshall's
Okay,
post.
31
and,
Actually, I gotta put part in the beginning.
that hasn't gone in slowly, has it?
So it's
No, that's
part
not good.
plus...
That's a left-hander at Indianapolis, so you come through a very, very quick right-hander and then try and brake. And the Panish Racing car's gone in quite heavily there, so that's a little bit more than just dragging it out by the looks of things.
Gonna name the guilty party if we can
Okay, I
spot
gotta
who's. They're not on page 1 of the timing
that
sheet. Is that an
first.
outlap?
Just checking now. Unfortunately, second timing screen's gone down.
Ah.
Don't think that's due to the accident.
Yes, again,
That
just
would
cut
be
the
unlucky,
cable.
wouldn't it?
Okay,
Um,
parts. What am I looking for? Bumper front part to modify.
31, it was Julian Canal. that
Parts
was the
available.
wheel. It was an outlap, you're right there.
Okay, I didn't load that for some
He's
reason.
gone off. So I presume he's just snatched the brake or lost the rear a little bit on the right-hander and then tried to sort of get it under control, but not quite achieved it.
So there's a few cars haven't been out. We just saw.
You've got to remember there was a 3-hour session this morning,
Yeah.
and then there was a 1-hour break. And so if you effectively took the checkered flag very late, you could be 10 minutes before you came back to the pits, which would mean there was only a 50-minute turnaround. And if you're doing any changes, then you would you very possibly miss the session, the start of
To
it.
this point, 40 of our 59 cars have been out in this session, Martin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good. It just shows one when there's only one. Oh, okay, except this. This is not right. Oh, wait, no, that's right. Bumper front. Okay, good. List all the bumpers for that car. Okay. Okay, there's only one for these. Okay, this one has one. There's one for that. And there's a bunch of fenders for that. There's a bunch of side skirts. Only one hood, one spoiler, one bumper. Okay, there's two. Okay. I was able to figure that out. Okay, that's good.
Was the last French
Does it actually
driver to
apply
win a Formula
anything?
1 race until just a couple of weeks ago when Pierre Gasly took that honour. The difference between
it's not modified.
Gasly was weeks
Only
after
paint is
Olivier
modified.
Perez won the Monaco Grand Prix. So the last Frenchman to win the Monaco Grand Prix, the last Frenchman to, or the last man to win a Grand Prix for Ligier, and as you said, up until Pierre Gasly's win in Monza, the last Frenchman.
Wait, isn't that the same as that one?
4 years. I mean, goodness me.
No,
You
they're
think
different.
of all the talent that France produced in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and since, and yet, it's nearly a quarter of a century
In Formula
One Grand Prix.
in Formula One. But that French talent just didn't disappear. France has always had a lot of very strong talent. They just went into, if you think, World Rally Championships, where they've won 15, 16 of them between a couple of their drivers, into sports car racing. There's been a plethora, there's a few of them. So, you know, they've been around the globe, just not necessarily in Formula
So,
1. Certainly not.
You can identify the parts, but why isn't it
Until Romain
applying
Grosjean
it?
was one that actually started the catalyst for the next generation to follow through.
And again, as you say, it's not that there haven't been French drivers racing in Formula One, they just haven't been in one of the 2 or 3 teams that you need to be in. And of course, one of the great, or several of the big supporters of French talent were big supporters.
I think mostly because they're not.
Teams like Guy Ligier's team who would
I don't have more than
naturally
one.
lend towards putting young French drivers into
I think I should add a
You have
way to
support
check
from
if there's
people
more
like
than
Elf
one.
particularly, and from Gauloise and so on. So there was a lot of national company support for French drivers, and all of those like Olivier Panis, who came up through the system, like Alain Prost, definitely benefited from that. Well, here is our Richard Mille Racing Team LMP2 car, one of 2 all-female lineups in the field. The other one is the Iron Lynx Ferrari that Rahul Freya is currently driving, and this car with a 3 female driver lineup. It was always planned to do European Le Mans Series and Le Mans, but unfortunately for Catherine Legge, who was due to be the 3rd driver, she had a pre-race crash in Le Castellet in testing, and she is not fit enough, unfortunately, to drive at Le Mans. So there's been a driver lineup change in that car, Graham.
Yes, but a couple of driver lineup changes in it, and but what we've got are 3 talented young ladies. Tatiana Calderon in the car at the moment. Sophia Flörsch, the youngest driver in this race, I believe, 19 years old. We've got 2 19-year-olds, but by 3 months or so, Sophia, the youngest.
Now, reading your notes, either you've changed them overnight, or you're saying Charles Milesi, Charles Milesi is 19 and Sophia is 3 months old.
Interesting.
The other way around. My apologies, but
Very interesting dilemma I got here.
Who second in W Series in its debut season as well.
Yeah.
And they will take time to bed themselves into this. The pace will come, the consistency will come. They've been unlucky because of the changes in calendar and other commitments. They've not had a stable driver lineup to this point. But boy oh boy, they get plenty of track time now.
Well, there are 2 things in their favour. First of all 3 of them can drive, and there's no question about that. And they come from single-seaters, and so adapting to the P2 car is maybe less of a drama than if you were finding people from touring cars. But also,
Oh wait, I should add a check for the.
competent team who know the car inside out, know Le Mans
I should add a check
inside
for
out, and so
the
they've got
performance.
that
That's what's
backup.
missing, I think.
And so all they've got to do is get their mindset around the length of the stint they're going to do, which is half a season worth of single-seater racing per stint, pretty much, and just try and understand that even a finish is going to be a massive achievement in a race this tough.
Absolutely. Signatech are looking after that effort. They are, of course, the 2-time winners, well, 3-time winners here, but twice on the trot. There are another team coming in for a hat-trick, not with quite the same driver lineup, but it would be 3 wins on the bounce. De Vries comes in.
And Philippe Signeau's team, they need no introduction in LMP2 and sports car racing, and they are absolutely a benchmark team. So you couldn't wish to place a project in better hands, and Richard Mille has done exactly that with his concept.
And what a comeback when we're talking about the Signatech team as we see De Vries taking helmet off.
I'm still not seeing how De Vries rhymes with quick. I'm going to have to work on it. Maybe it's my pronunciation.
Bemused look from the dish in the corner.
She's giving me the old-fashioned look.
The point there, though, is from a point just a few
Okay,
months ago.
can I actually? Okay, I want to look at get list of install for.
The turnaround under new management at Renault, for that now to be the dominant sporting brand, it will, by the time we get to racing next season, gentlemen, be the moniker that's applied to both a Formula 1 team and a team in the top rank of sports car racing. 2 full FIA World Championships with that brand. That's some turnaround.
Absolutely, and you know, and for the team, it's fantastic that has all been sort of heading in their direction over what have been very uncertain times and what might have looked like a very uncertain future to start with.
Yeah.
Looking for a position for the 32 car again. That's not on my timing screen, so
no, I think that's one of the ones that's joined in.
Page 2. So the 22 United car, though, which is this one, is currently 4th fastest. Racing Team Netherlands quickest in LMP2 from G Drive with
Alright, so if select, I don't know,
we
if
apparently now have to say, because
selected part dot
Styly, we find out that we've been saying Jean-Eric Verne wrong for in a very English way for many years.
D mass strength value.
Narrowing through Dunlop.
I'm making a unilateral decision now that the SO24 Hasp by Graph is going to be called the Graph car from here on in.
SO24.
Yeah.
SO24. Backed, by the way, by a consortium of regional businesses in the South region, and one of the other cars that features a Le Mans-born driver, the 3 Le Mans-born drivers here, as the number 11 car is off the track again. That's just after rejoining, I think, from the
drag
we had for the car. It's Eric Maurice this time in the car. And that looks
dragged it down.
Yeah, and that will be straight out of the pits and up.
Oh, no, it's a spin.
Yeah. So cold tyres.
Yeah.
Not cold, but not hot enough for the speed he was carrying in. It wasn't prodigious pace, but enough to loop the car around. Now, of course, he has to watch the marshals because he actually wants to go backwards. Oh, no, that's got a decent turning circle, and off he goes.
A good London cab, that.
Not sure you get much luggage.
What if I do? What if I just do the ID?
So as you say, Eric Maris experienced enough here at Le Mans not to have needed the
Contains
rookie test.
No, good looking livery on that car. That's kind of deep blue. I've seen them before on your internationals LMP3 cars.
I was looking for the position of the 32 United car. That is 16th in a field of 16.
Get body part ID or get body part ID. What's the parts? Random. Okay.
You'll notice that despite the onset of Goodyear, the Dunlop Bridge is still the Dunlop Bridge. For no other reason than lots of.
Okay, I don't want to pick random part from the list.
Still race here. Trucks for one, motorcycles for another. Already had the 24 hours, the EWC, isn't it?
Yep. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they had some pretty. It was actually a classic bike Le Mans, which is normally in the spring and is normally pretty cold, pretty drizzly, and pretty grim. And it was cold, and it was a lot more drizzly than normally actually. So they had some fairly miserable racing conditions for
from
the Vainqueur Motor.
Higher class. Okay, so part got split using this.
2017 in GTM before moving on
Part
for a couple of
split
seasons
equals.
LMP2.
Oh wait, no, string.
I think GT cars much more to his liking.
String. There we go.
Program at the moment with a program at the Nürburgring.
How do I get the current installed one?
Next weekend, and one of a number of drivers and teams here, and including one commentator on our team, will be doing just that. Not Alan. So you don't have to worry. It's not you.
Same country. It's not he that has to worry. It's Kelly that can now. It's Kelly that can now stand down.
I'm going to Nürburgring in 24 hours. I was just wondering whether there was something I didn't know. Why I was going.
Yeah, take your suit.
I have to take my tie as well.
Take your racing testicles because your suit and helmet are already there. They've been sent in advance.
Trust me, I think I would need a slightly larger one than any of my older ones.
Quickest lap of the session.
Yeah.
It's a 3:21.079. It goes to Kamui Kobayashi, and who holds the lap record.
List of installed body parts, and that just gets the part, right?
Years ago. Bellatrix going quickly at the moment as well. He's just put in the fastest first sector of this session.
Yeah, but also look at Rebellion Racing.
Okay, that's not what I need. I need ID.
You were talking about. I apologise there. I was looking at the actual times of splits. Quickest in the first sector, and his quickest personal in the second sector as well. Third sector, though, is the one where you can easily get so caught up in traffic because it's all the way through Indianapolis and then down towards Porsche corners as well. And if you get caught in the middle of Porsche, then you can lose easily 1-2 seconds.
Do we think Floyd is a sponsor's name on the Bicoles, or please tell me it's just the nickname they've given to the car?
I'm so fucking confused now. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm getting a list of parts, random range.
This is some serious work going on at Rebellion. That will be a new engine being fitted, won't it?
Right, and then
So we ain't gonna
okay,
see
so
that
get all
in
the
this
parts
session.
for the model.
Yeah, well, that's quite a long way forward for a gearbox.
Yeah, but remember they said they had the problems with the clutch pulling out at the beginning of the session, so Gustavo Menezes, when
Okay,
he
so
was
that
on
lists
board, he said there was something with the clutch
available
that he was kept
available
stalling in,
parts.
so
Okay,
therefore
that's the
I would
name of
suspect
the
it's
part.
probably taking it apart to be able to get into that part of the car.
But they're unbolting something from the bulkhead.
Okay.
What's bolted to the bulkhead is the engine. It's not the transmission. Transmission is bolted to the back of the engine.
Yes, usually.
I would have said if the gearbox is that high up and that far forward, then they've got some very unique design concepts going on, and it's the other car as well. So this is
Well, some good news, by the way, for Rebellion is that Louis Delatraz
And I think this is
actually
just
completed
removing.
that lap, and it's a significant improvement in time, a 3:23.458 for
Yeah.
Delatraz.
Yeah, but it's not very quick in the last sector. It was that last sector, he had some traffic.
Run across the gravel, the exit at the Ford chicane for the 39, so 24, Graf. gone.
Okay, here's where I
So
should
those two
split
Monaco's
the
were
ID.
Graf.
Graph Racing, that's the
String.
team, and yeah.
James Allen kicking up the dust.
ID
not that one,
split
different one, he's
equals
Australian, this
ID dot split
And
at
in a Panis Racing team, a little bit of crack bodywork. Do we know
split
that
at
car
That
has
was,
got
this.
that was one of the
It did.
trading
There you
out
go.
of the barrier.
Ah, yes.
It's at Indianapolis earlier on.
Okay, and then
Yeah, it's going to be a long weekend. I do apologise, everybody. I know I started this, but
Thank you.
know.
And it is an engine. I'll tell you what, you should be...
He's good at this.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen,
But
here,
you do realise the clutch is attached to it.
Yes.
yeah, but not at that end.
It doesn't matter if they're changing.
Well, if they were having problems with the clutch, it's quite
Yeah, it
conceivable
depends.
because the crank or the flywheel had come loose. But things bolted to bulkheads since 1967 have been more of the revy variety that makes the power rather than the grindy variety that transmits it.
so if
And in fact,
list
before 1967,
of parts
although
that
the
count
Ford Colossus was the first engine
is
that was
greater
a
than
stressed
1,
member, so you could
so
bolt
they
it
should
to the
do
car
this
and then
then.
bolt suspension and the gearbox.
Otherwise don't change it,
Further
you know, like
improvements
why
in
even
LMP2.
try?
This is one coming from John Eric, still going to call him Vern. 3:30.26.
Yeah,
it means he's second quickest now, and that's the 26G drive. No one close yet to the 3:27.1 we saw from the racing team
For
Netherlands car
each
at the start of the session.
If we go there,
string, no, game object, for each gauge
Should
object.
mention, by the way, that currently 8 positions shy of where we'd need to be at 2:30 on
Part
Sunday to get the Triple
object
Crown
in
on
a
Pablo
list
Montoya.
of parts.
Late addition, of course, to the Dragon Speed team, the number 21 car, Dragon Speed USA. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've heard a lot over the last couple of years about Fernando Alonso. The other man that is one race away from a Triple Crown is Juan Pablo Montoya, who has, of course, got 500 wins and a Monaco Grand Prix win on his career CV, and requires just one race, this race, to complete the Triple Crown. And wouldn't that annoy the world's most famous Spaniard?
But again, even to get close to what Graham Hill did, Montoya's going to have to return to Formula One and win an F1 World Championship as well.
I don't know, it's Monaco Grand Prix.
I know, well, I know, but when Graham Hill did that, he was also a World champion. Plus five Monaco Grand Prix. Yes, and he's got to grow a pencil tash as well. I think that's absolutely mandatory. But, which is another reason for wanting to see Alonso do it, just so he has to wear a little tash like that, because that would just be genius with those caps and a pencil tash.
Simply because we haven't, or at least if we have, I've missed it, and I apologise if I have, we've not mentioned it. Top of the tree in GT Pro for the second session is Aston Martin, 95 car. Marcus Sorensen is currently at the wheel of that car, but top 2 in the first session, topping this session, just been split, by the way, by 71 AF Corsa, but Aston Martin going very quickly in the early sessions of this weekend.
We've just gone double Dutch. We went from a picture of a man in a helmet with a Mentos suit, which is the new Porsche Super Cup Mobil 1 champion, Larry Tenforder, to the Racing Team Netherlands car. And who's at the wheel of that now? Is that, oh, that's Fritz van Aert. Fritz is, since they changed from the Delara of their first season to the Orica of this season, has been transformed because it's a car that doesn't want to bite him every time he gets in it, he says, and he has become one of the quick gentleman drivers in LMP2.
Nakajima very quick here, quickest first sector, quickest second sector, looking at the cars coming up, he's going to probably get them at the end of the long right-hander as he comes through Porsche. Entry to it is nice and clean and tidy now, he's got them much earlier, and so that's that lap gone, unfortunately, but that was going to be the quickest of the session, and the first person to dip into the 3-minute 20s, possibly into the 19s as well.
Yeah. It's signs that we're going to see something special in qualifying, I think.
Around the TF Sport Aston Martin. Of course, they get 2 bites at it as well, because normally you set these laps in a full field of cars qualifying.
I can't use that. What are you talking about? In here?
Lap record in qualifying, but you've also got a hyperpole where the track will be yours basically and almost yours alone, because the session is so slow, people won't be going in and out of the pits endlessly, and there won't be very many of them, so we should, there's no reason at all, see a much quicker lap.
And that was a 3:22 flat, which was actually that car's quickest of the race, considering the traffic at the end of it. I think it was well into the low 19s that it would have been able to do.
Well, looking at the sector time for the sister car, that was indeed just under 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds slower in the final sector than the quickest time of the session. So counting that back, absolutely spot on, Al. That's looking like close to kind of 3:19s.
But he was 3/10 up after sector 2, wasn't he? So
He's 1.1 up after sector 2.
Yeah.
It was 3/10 in the first sector, 8 in the second sector. So he was already down at the 20s at that point. And that's a spin exit of Dunlop. Kyle Tilley just looping it around. Lucky that no one tagged him actually more than anything else.
Two of the three drivers from the IMSA era motorsports effort, their car, actually their second chassis, being used by EDEX Sport. I'm having to remind myself that is an EDEX Sport car and not an Algar Pro car, because they're using much the same.
Okay, so instead of using ID, let's just pick random attribute to upgrade.
Van der Zande in the number 27 Dragon Speed car. That's the regular Dragon Speed livery of white with the stars and bars across the centre. Now this year in European Le Mans Series they're using the dark blue with the sort of negative of that.
Yep, Dragon Speed hold the position of being the only team ever to win races in LMP2, in the LMS, WC and in IMSA in the same year.
Really?
Yep.
It's impressive stuff. So that car is currently, that's the slower of the two actually. So that is just, Renger van der Zande just set a lap that
so
is 18th in the class,
pick
but the American car,
randomly,
Pablo Montoya currently
or
is 6th in the class.
Or
so in
pick
LMP1,
base
Toyota are 1-2 ahead of Rebellion's number 3 car, which is in position number 3. Racing Team Netherlands, fastest.
I guess this would be a random chance, I guess.
G-Drive's number 26 car and United's number 22. Long-term spark.
Okay,
partners.
so
Here's the G-Drive number 16 car, Brian Cullen,
one
Jarvis,
part
and
for
Tandy.
part
Bedford's
selected
fastest
to
overall
modify.
Le Mans winner.
A lot of work going on there. They actually haven't done much this session at all, and it looks like there's been quite a lot of prep work between the two sessions. Now they only got this car because actually this car was being raced by Dragon Speed earlier on, the physical car, and so Algarve only got it I think about a couple of weeks ago, and this is the first time that the team, but also that group of drivers as well, has actually run in it and together. And so it'll be a bit of a learning process by everybody, I think, there for a little while.
Henrik Hedman taking that one over. In GTE Pro, the 92 Porsche is fastest of all, from the 51 AF Corsa Ferrari and the 95 Aston Martin. And somebody flick was page 2. Who's got a flicker?
What did you need?
GTE AM, who is the top 3 in the GTE AM class?
Just 1 second.
Oh, well, it's the 98 Aston Martin ahead of the 54 Porsche and the 77, which is the Proton 77 car, which is third fastest. 54 is another of the AF Corsa Ferraris. That's the silver.
Okay, and this is what, the part?
Giancarlo Fisichella always seems to attract the attention of the stewards in.
That's the VestaJet backed car, Thomas Fleur.
Have they got a chandelier
I
again
did
this,
that.
weekend in the garage?
Have they?
I don't know. That was on their
Drag to down.
Le Mans as a sponsor, they definitely had a chandelier.
It was a quite fabulous protocol at the Le Mans Aerodrome last night with one of the larger private jets from VestaJet, one of the pro cars and the 54 car on the runway. Look, nice.
Very good by Connors coming in.
I want to do it randomly. No, I think about this more.
Number 4 car, Tom Dillman, is currently at the wheel of that car, and he needs to find 0.2 of a second to go quicker than the fastest LMP2 car.
Yep, can tell you by the way, it's Ross Gunn with the fastest lap in the 98 car, leading GTM. Giancarlo Fisichella, it is. In the A, of course, of 54, second quickest. Matt Campbell in the 77 Dempsey Proton car. And actually, good lap 2 from Andrew Watson in the Gulf Racing 86 car is fourth quickest.
And that 98 car, the only constant with the last 2 Le Mans, and the last several Le Mans actually, is Canadian Paul Dallalana. He remains in the car, but this year joined by Ross Gunn, who's a British GT champion in Aston Martin, and Augusto.
Will there be a great? Yeah, there is. There is. All the team drivers will have their own kits. This is just purely for non-team AI. Yeah, I'm just generating cars for non-team AI. All the other teams will have their own body kits. So if you look, so all this right here on the left that says spec, that's just a grouping of specific parts. So if we go to spec livery, you can see that CC test drivers have their own paint job style. And the default is just like the default. And same with body kits, but there's only one entry, which is just stock everything.
While we just relive our faded youth. 27 car in the garage. And this Dragon Speed car, Henrik Hebben, Ben Hanley, Renger van der Zande was
alright, spec suspensions and all that stuff.
First free practice session is currently, what did I say, it was 16th or something? Yeah, 18th.
Engine change still underway with the number 1. The 27 car, by the way, has only done 5 laps to the point where he came in, so not much in this session from that Dragon Speed car. The 1 car, after that on board we heard from Gustavo Menezes saying he was feeling something in the clutch earlier, has had rear end of the car completely rebuilt since then. And Davidson has been out and is now back in the Jota car, another one of our WEC World Champions, of course, 2014 champion from Davidson Toyota.
That's the cam-tail version of the Oreca 07, isn't it?
Here comes the Risi Competizione car. Lots of red Ferraris this year.
It's a wide body will look horrible with something that isn't.
Wants to race a blue Ferrari or a green Ferrari. They all want it to be Rosso Corsa.
Here's the thing: we did have a blue Risi Competizione Ferrari last year. It was a kind of art car effort with, I think it was Ferrari Club France last year.
Okay.
And it's fair to say, I believe that Giuseppe didn't like that this year and was fairly insistent.
On board with Felipe Albuquerque, the points leader in the European Le Mans Series.
Yeah, I can't really think about that right at the moment. I gotta focus on this thing.
Expect to come here and be contesting LMP2 victory. No longer is this a learning program. They're 2 Le Mans into that, 3 Le Mans into that. They have come loaded for bear, haven't they? They're looking to win this.
They have, and you know, Phil Hansen in particular, the silver driver there, clearly heading for gold status next year, because it looks like he's going to win at least one of those 2 titles if things carry on this way.
Definitely.
There are like a billion ways to do that. I could just add a flag. I could add like a new variable and check for it if it's wide body or not, then just use wide body parts, stuff like that. But I can't really, I don't want to, I keep getting distracted and I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Because I start thinking about it. Okay.
Likelihood is performance is going to be most important.
Yeah, absolutely. And if last night was anything to go by, that transition will be long.
Yeah, this is why I asked you guys to add ideas to the feedback or whatever forms I have, because I can't. There's a ton of stuff to think about, and I can't think of all of them all at once.
Either of heading into the pit lane or parking up on the grid. But you only do the parking up on the grid thing during a race. So she will have a long...
Oh, it's a big one. It's
that's
the EDEC car, 28 car.
Well, things haven't gone very well for EDEC Sports since Jamie Campbell-Walter came in, and now he's left. It's gone even worse.
It's Paul Lafargue, reigning European Le Mans Series champion, and he's been in the barrier and hard.
Okay, what am I doing? I'm randomly. Okay, I kind of just want to do random instead.
Second chicane. He's crashed somewhere at the second chicane with that
Should I
one.
just do it randomly?
Very, very heavy damage. And if the chassis is cracked, there won't be another one. There's been a lot of broken.
Because I could do it
chassis
based
this
on
year,
other
and
factors,
while
but
Bushanak and the team have been starting up the factory again and trying to build
I think for non-team cars, I think I just get away with doing it randomly for now, because I can't.
No, that's not the exit.
I said it before, but if you toss me some of the props you use, such as maybe the cranes, I'd be up for testing my might with destroyed versions.
The only time I've seen anything remotely close to that, we had an incident, I think was it last year with one of the Rebellions, nutted the barrier, but it was further down. That was getting the power down out of the chicane, and it spat it right. But that's
big black marks over the curbs there.
Nazi in there, sporting director at Edec Sports, looking on with some concern.
That's him in the red suit. And
Paul-Luc Chateau.
yeah, so are the teammates, exactly. Paul-Luc and Richard Bradley. It's not looking very
take
good.
a look.
So they're showing some real concern there.
Yeah.
Oh.
The man is out of the car, and that, in the end, is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, on his own 2 feet and standing away from the car, so he's gone out under his own steam.
You saw Eduardo Freitas. He will be talking to the marshals on the spot. French, one of the number of languages that he works.
Okay, I'm just gonna add a simple pick random equals true, and then I can split this as pseudocode and then add stuff later. Pick random, then pick random, and then else. Oops, fuck.
Very substantial
Else,
hit for the car, a lot of damage.
do
So
this.
cars will be coming back into the pit lane, and that would seem like an excellent opportunity to get the kettle
Okay.
on.
I don't know what the factors are going to be to decide this, but I'm branching it off now, and then this is doing the random bit, so I'm just going to work on that. Selected part is the selected ID. Okay, so is this is outputting selected ID, and I get to use this.
Thank you very much, Martin. Great to be with you guys.
Well, back with us, and with real cars this time, and actually monitors that we can see on, not some tiny little thing hidden down in a hole in front of our desk. No disrespect to whoever came up with the studio set. It looked gorgeous, but this is a little bit more worker friendly.
And isn't it lovely also?
Okay,
just
pick
to
random.
harken
Okay,
back to
pick
that,
from list of
weekend
parts
in
for
June,
vehicle.
how much has still
But I was doing that
into
before,
today's racing,
and it wasn't
seeing Porsche, dedicate one of
right
their
because
liveries
it
to the
didn't do
virtual
much
win that they had in
because it was
GT Pro,
going through
and also
the
to see that,
the
Race
class
Control now use
system.
Discord as their means to communicate with all the teams, as they did at Le Mans 24 Virtual, as so many
Okay,
of
I'm gonna
you
disable
listen
this code
and
for
play
now.
games you use as a communications device, and now all of a sudden
Selected
it's being
part
used
is
in the real world.
selected ID.
So gamers like Ben are going, yes, we
So add selected ID up here.
As ever, you learn from every
Equals
experience, whether
blank.
you're a driver, an engineer,
Selected
a
ID
race director, or
is equal
any
to
kind of business
the random
professional.
part.
You learn
Yes.
from experiences, and you're absolutely right.
Get part of selected ID. Okay, and then apply selected part to the object. Okay.
And he is the only softy southerner. In fact, he's very soft southerner because he's now abandoned England to go and live in La Jolie, France. The other two are Scots, so let's welcome
I could double
Jamie Campbell-Walter,
the number of iterations.
who's now in the cool box looking for chocolate. So we'll talk to Peter Dumbreck, who is significantly
Fuck with
away from the Tunnock supply.
Dude, I don't even know. Dude, I was listening to this just to get bits of the Le Mans race, but I totally lost. I was totally got lost in my code. What did they say something? Or are you just wondering?
Yeah, you know how it is. It's
Now you got me curious. What the hell happened?
I didn't do any virtual racing at all.
Did they say something weird? What happened?
Year
I don't know.
Who's next? The other two face very
I don't know.
soft southerner because he's now abandoned
Oh,
England
really?
to go and live in La Jolie, France. The other two are Scots, so let's welcome Jamie Campbell-Walter.
Hello, hello.
Who's now in the cool box
I
looking
don't-
for
I don't know.
chocolate. So we'll talk to Peter Dumbreck, who is significantly away from the Tunnock supply.
Yes, hello. Good to be back.
And your first of 2 24 hours in 8 days, because you'll be
I'm gonna
racing
double
at
the
the
iterations
Nürburgring,
for
and
this
the
to
race
go
is
through
obviously starting
properly.
on Saturday as well. So
Or
you've
maybe I
got
should
a
just.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know how it is. It's been a very quiet start to the year. I didn't do any virtual racing at all. I just did bike riding,
Yep.
and a little bit of golf, and now it's a busy end to the year. And yeah, this situation where Le Mans and Nürburgring happened 2-3
Okay,
years
what if
ago,
I do,
same
if
week,
list of
you know,
parts,
is in June. Both
shit.
races were in June.
Nürburgring was the week before as well, wasn't it?
I might have to do a
3 or 4
for
years
loop for
ago.
this.
So it's
I
been
don't
a
know
couple of
what
times
the
that
factors are
they've
going to
been
be.
very close proximity.
List
Yeah, so
of...
yeah, it's a strange situation, you know, to be in this race, to be at this race in September, and then to be going to do another 24-hour race in a week's time
In September as well, yeah.
in possibly dire conditions, perhaps.
More September-y than we're experiencing now.
Yeah.
So listen, as a professional racing driver, you basically spend all your time being a fitness athlete, and very occasionally for light relief they let you in a car. That's the way that the weight balances, isn't it? You earn the money for those glorious few minutes where you're doing what you started
Okay, well,
doing.
condition is
And
true.
all the legwork, and particularly in your case on a bicycle, all the legwork is to keep you fit enough to do it. Have you ever been fitter?
Well, I'm advancing in years, let's say. So I know I feel pretty strong. Yeah, I think probably when I was younger, I was doing Formula Nippon, which
Yeah.
is not so far away from
Yeah, but you weren't
distance.
Formula One.
But you weren't riding 100 kilometres a day on the bike as
I
well.
was-
were you?
I
Good
was
list of
doing-
installed
yeah, I
parts.
was doing different training, but I was doing more driving then. Now it's as your career develops, you end up doing fewer and fewer races, and yeah, now I'm not doing that many races, and they're all at the ring. They all tend to be at the ring. So yeah, I just
Okay,
have to be
I
up to
can
speed there
go
and
through
to match my younger
a list
teammates,
of...
and hopefully I can do that, and
Hopefully whip them.
Yeah, and be a strong part of the team.
And you know, with all this time that everybody has had in forced layoff, first of all, you can now remember, and your wife can now remember what you look like, and the kids don't go, "Who's that strange man, mummy?" and you know all that stuff. How is the handicap coming down?
It's doing well, but what I find is it's like anything. You really have to throw yourself into it to be very good at it. And when you're trying to balance golf and cycling and a bit of motor racing, then something's got to give. So I certainly could be better at golf if I really focused on 4 to 5 times a week, 18 holes each time. Then
Then you'd be on a Tim Harvey kind of handicap.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there's someone to play with next time. Yeah, I
There
don't know.
you go. So Jamie Campbell-Walter, the opposite side of the scale really for you. You have not seen home in about 2 months.
I don't know if
now,
I went
because
past it or
motor
not,
racing, an entire year has been crammed into
Anyway.
about 3 Wednesdays, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a hectic schedule for everyone.
God damn it.
Coronavirus
Okay, so
situation,
many ways to
we've
do
seen
this. I can iterate,
from
I
start of
can
July,
analyze each list, and then pick the ones that have more than one. That way I'm guaranteed
exhausting, not just for me, but
to-
for the drivers, for the teams, for the mechanics, for
but then it's
everyone.
still an off chance. Oh,
Yeah,
God damn it.
tough times, but we all still love what we do,
Um,
and these guys are still going to give the maximum, and coronavirus or not, we're all still here wearing our masks and pushing as hard as we can.
So a red flag in the session at the moment with what looks to be damage to the barrier down there at the second chicane, as well as the removal of the car. So this will not be a work of a moment to get this car, to get the car onto the low loader. Looks like it's
Oh my
already
God.
happening now. But with the barrier slightly bent,
View properties.
we may not carry on the session. The issue being, Jamie, is that we only have 2 hours left of this session, and then we go straight into that 45-minute of qualifying. Qualifying usually
Okay,
is
this
a
can
couple
go
of
up
days
here.
after the first
This is will be
Yeah,
always be
tough
the same.
one for the teams that hopefully
So is
Paul
this.
Lepage is okay. If this was Sunday 2 weeks before, no problem. They've got plenty of time to fix the car up. For everyone involved, if you have an accident 1, 2, 3 hours before a qualifying session, it's a really tough one. For that driver to get back in that car and go and give it all, we haven't actually seen what's happened, but for the mechanics, a complete nightmare. Normally, we would have qualifying tonight and then a day off. Also, that's changed this year. So yeah, really tough
You know,
one.
it's of
Whether or not
installed
that's
body
quite
parts.
comprehensive damage, to be honest. So the barrier will get fixed, but whether or not the car will be ready in time is a question mark.
Yeah, IDEX Sport running 2 cars, the second of which it has the kind
Part
of
to
the rookie drivers that
modify.
need to get their laps in. So That's one problem that the French crew don't have to worry about, those minimum 10 laps required by, I think, all 3 of the other crew. And we do have free practice tomorrow as well, tomorrow morning, only a 1-hour session. But I guess that will be the objective, if there is the ability to fix the car, get it ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, or even tonight.
Yeah, till midnight we're running, yeah.
They might miss the qualifying, but they could still get out for FP2, FP3. We run until midnight, I think it is tonight. So, they you know, these cars are pretty strong. When you see them like that, yes, it looks bad, yes. But as long as
I have to
chassis
add
is
some
okay,
performance
the
check.
main parts of the chassis and the engine. Actually,
I can't
the
just pick
suspension,
randomly.
The whole front nose.
Well, I
we
can,
saw
but
completely off the car. You know, as long as there's no the inserts in the chassis where the bodywork.
Okay, let's just get a list
front end, you can
of
sometimes have a
parts.
shunt that looks enormous.
Okay, so
but actually takes relatively little time.
choose
to put the car
part,
back together. So it really,
cat,
until the
choose
team gets
part
the car back off the low loader
group
and has a good old
that
look
has
and rips all
more
the damaged
than
parts
one.
off. We won't know, but I'll send Nick Manassi, the sporting director there, a
Okay,
message
but
and
then
ask
that's
him
just.
how they're getting on in a couple of hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. The car will come past our viewing platform here, which is on the exit of the last chicane, and we watch the cars come through that last chicane and over the line, which is quite a nice thing to do at the moment. Although, of course, as the sun goes down into our eyes, it'll make much more tricky viewing. Just a reminder then of this compressed schedule that we have. 5:15 local time is when we will have our qualifying session. All 59 cars will take the track. Only 45 minutes to get a decent lap in. It's going to be absolutely frenetic, and the objective of that session is basically to get into the top 5 of each class, which will then allow you to progress into Hyperpole, which happens on Friday at 11:30, and then you'll have a clear track to do what you like. But for the classes that are well populated, like the GT AM class and the LMP2 class, that will be very, very frenetic. Obviously, LMP1s, all cars will go through. We'll miss a couple of pro cars from the GT category, as there's a couple more than 5, but only a few more than 5 that won't be able to get through. We will then have free practice 3 from 8 o'clock this evening, and that runs all the way through midnight to get those night hours in.
You shouldn't even do this until it does that part at the bottom.
Peter, from what we experienced last night when we were sitting having dinner, it's going to be the majority in the dark, isn't it? It's going to be about 3 hours in the dark.
Well, that's the different situation with this year's race.
Okay, so I feel like I should just do the random choice up here.
Darkness. So, yeah, the thing is about driving here in the dark, though, it's not too difficult. You know, it's we've got pretty good weather at the moment,
Pick
so the lights will be working very well. The air's cooler,
or
the cars will be fast, and obviously if you're
based.
a particularly quick driver in the car, which they will do for a qualifying session, then they'll know the track like the back of their hand anyway. So. Yeah, we're going to see some fast times tonight.
Porsche did a very interesting research into the conditions in which differ between June and September. And in fact, the mean average temperature between June and September is about
group
the
as
same
more than one.
Here at Le Mans. The difference being the opportunity for rain being much, much higher. You can see they are going to try and fix that barrier. So this is going to be a little bit longer period of red flags while we get that barrier fixed.
So we've seen it's going to restart in about 22 minutes from now.
Looks like they've done a pretty good job of that barrier already. There is Eduardo on his phone. Oh, he's messaging you, is he, Martin? Oh, okay, very good. I believe that the reason Lisa's not alongside him this weekend is that she'll be working at the Nürburgring for DTM, because that's one of her other jobs. So that's why she's not with the sidekick,
less than
not with Eduardo this weekend. Yeah, so same average temperature across the whole of September here in Le Mans. Whether it be June, whether it be September, the opportunity for rain
do an iteration.
much higher.
Okay.
And Harry Tinknell said to me last night,
integer iteration equals 0.
because it's longer nights. Will the sun go deeper? I don't know really where he's going with it, but I can sort of understand.
Do
you know, it doesn't really
iteration
ever get dark.
less
Right
than
in the middle of the night, there's still
30
a lot of light in
36.
June.
You know, it depends how many clouds are in the sky. If there's a nice, full moon,
yeah, true.
with not many clouds, and it's going to be.
I can do it for each.
There, so I don't know what they
And then decide that one.
right
I'm gonna have to do it for each.
We do know that there's a possibility of thundery showers come Saturday.
For
so
each.
for us sitting in the box here,
for
quite
each
exciting for the
part,
guys to
for each
Just a quick
string.
look at Antonio Felix da
part.
Costa. What a year that the Portuguese driver has had, and he will be very excited to get another potential title under his belt here at Le Mans this weekend. The Algarve Pro team, far end of pit lane. Good effort from our RF cameras to get all the way down to pit out. And they are running effectively 3 cars, although really one under that banner, flicking around all the garages as half-masked men talk to other half-masked men and women in the paddock. Quite difficult going to be to identify people just from their eyes, I think, Peter.
That's right. I mean, I'm not the best at identifying people anyway, but yes, I'll leave that. You're a seasoned pro.
What a crew this car is, though, Jamie. Anthony Davidson inside this crew, as well as Antonio Felix da Costa. That is one to watch for sure, with Jota running the team.
Yeah, Jota, top team. Antonio is top driver, Formula E champion this year, of course, recently in Berlin. Anthony is a top-class driver, proved himself with Toyota in ex-Formula 1. And then Gustavo is a very good silver driver. So good team, good drivers, always going to be in with the shot. The one question mark, of course, with that team is that they are running the Goodyear tyre this year. Versus the Michelin, which the sort of, let's say, favourites, I would say, United Autosports are running. Question mark, obviously first time for Goodyear here at Le Mans in many years. Of course, we all sort of know behind the scenes that the link between Goodyear and Dunlop, but it'll be interesting, a lot of data collecting for them today to find out exactly what the best setups to get that tyre working ideally. We have seen let's say the Michelin being slightly more dominant in normal conditions, and we've seen in some tracks this year that the Goodyear, maybe in the wet, particularly in the damp, the intermediates, working very well and better than the Michelin. So the expected rain on Saturday night, Sunday morning could play into their hands. Be an interesting battle, like always in LMP2.
Absolutely, plenty of talent in there, plenty of cars. I think we've got 21, 22 cars in LMP2, and a good handful of them
and then,
with the Goodyear tyre. As you say,
what is
Peter,
it? Selected part.
It's not just one tyre, obviously. We've got the slick tyre, we've got the wet tyre, and we are expecting mixed conditions, so they might not necessarily have the ultimate grip, the longevity when it comes to dry conditions, but the wet tyre could be magnificent in comparison.
Absolutely, and don't forget, at least half of this circuit is a normal public road. And I know from the Nürburgring, when you drive around the Nürburgring Nordschleife, it's linked to the Grand Prix circuit. The grip between the two is completely different. So I'd imagine it's the same here. You know, if you've got a tyre that's working extremely well on the circuit part of it, the part that's a full-time circuit, and it won't necessarily be working that well on the road circuit. So you know, there's so many variables, and as you say, with the Goodyear, it's I think been quite good so far, pardon the pun, in the damp conditions. So that will be the situation where we might see the Felix da Costa car start to maybe move up a bit.
Well, the barriers have all been fixed. The car has been removed from that barrier, although, yes, they have now adjusted the restart time to just 2 minutes to go now. So the rear end going back on that particular G-Drive car. We've got 2 G-Drive sponsored machines run by 2 different teams, obviously with 2 different crews. And that's one to get your head around when you're watching the cars out on track, because ultimately they look pretty similar. But teams will be wanting to get themselves back out on the track for an hour and 45 minutes left of this session, and that will be it in terms of getting their cars ready for the qualifying session, which only comes up 15 minutes after the end of this free practice. So really little time to get turned around. This is the first day of running, and no time, Peter, to get yourself warmed up. No time to just to get into the rhythm slowly, because yes, okay, we had 3 hours this morning, but these hours, these practice sessions disappear so quickly, and we had a red flag in that one too.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of goes back to the last few weeks and how many of the drivers have been racing and active in different series, and how sharp and if they're confident and sharp and they've been doing well, then you know, they can jump into these cars and run quickly straight away. But if you've had a fair bit of time off and this is your one big race of the year, then it will take that bit longer to get up to speed.
If you've just joined us, the second of the Rebellion cars, that's the number 3 we're seeing out in pit lane. The other one is having some kind of rear end change. We did see a new engine being prepared to put onto the back of that car.
What does it mean?
We haven't seen a time yet in this session, and plenty of cars getting to the end of pit lane, trying to get a little bit of clear track. Would this be a time to start pushing?
I'm so confused. What the?
All the time is good time to push.
All the time.
What? What does it mean? The fuck?
Yeah, absolutely.
Eligible parts to modify. That's a list, and I can get using an integer. This is an integer.
It's also a time for the drivers just to get into the
Oh,
track
I see.
will be,
I see.
normally on a Thursday, the track is relatively clean by now.
Oh, okay.
Weather, obviously, but, you know, we would have normally
Park
had a full
selected.
test day a couple of weeks ago, plus last night's running, which was always sort of 4 to 6 hours running,
Fuck.
and then they would have started now and had another load of running. But
It's
actually
too tight
today
to
is the first
modify.
day the track's been used in a whole year, so it won't be easy for the drivers. And you know, as we've just seen with that enormous crash for Paul Lafarge, but
Type
as the
selected.
cars go out, yeah, the drivers have got to just, you know, pound the laps in, do the runs, do the stints, so that the engineers can do their job to get their calculations right for the race, and the performance engineers, etc., to get the balance right in the car, so that the drivers have a comfortable car to drive, a quick car, and so many all the stats and the tactical parts of the race, which they're collecting all the time.
40 odd drivers that need to get their compulsory 10 laps in, that have not had the experience here at Le Mans. A couple of drivers that need to do compulsory 5 laps. That is for not being here for a few years. Nod if that's correct, Graham. No, it's not correct. That's fine. Just trying to remind myself of all the nuances of the rules that you've been well explaining so far.
Graham, the encyclopedia, could always put his headphones on.
No, he's off. He's off. It's fine. 4 rookie teams, 43
Where?
drivers.
Oh my god.
And
Where is
reason
this
they
being
only have 5
used?
laps is
What are you talking about? List of
most
parts.
have got 10, but there are
Cannot
3
be
or 4
declared
drivers
in the
that
scope.
got
His
only
name is
5.
used in closing local scope. What are you talking about?
Aha.
Where? I don't
Well,
see
it's the likes of
shit.
Spengler and Tom Blomqvist.
There's FI grading.
Right, okay.
It'll be the FI
Is it down here?
So there are various rules that apply depending on the achievements you've had in
It's
most
down there,
thus
probably.
far. So I'm
Okay.
feeling that's a pattern
List of temp parts.
to do
There you go.
rookie test either.
No, all drivers have to do the rookie test if they've not competed in the race in the last 3 years.
Okay.
So they all have to go to Paris to do the sim.
Yep.
But it might be that Spengler, obviously DTM champion, you know, a competent driver, let's say he's platinum, but maybe that's why he only has to do 5. Whereas if you're a bronze or a silver, ever been before, you've got to do 10.
Makes perfect.
It's our 3 platinum drivers, Kenta Matsushita, Tom Blomqvist and Bruno Spengler, who've only got the 5 to do. And then there's 40 others that have 10 to do. So that makes perfect sense. On board with Kobayashi. At the moment, that car is the fastest by a second.
Should add, before I hand it back over, by the way, is that includes anybody that's won the race before but hasn't been back for 3 years, as Guy Smith had to do some years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, Kobayashi, we're watching him. Not a race winner here, unfortunately. Very sadly, a few years ago, broke down. However, his two teammates, have both won. Buemi and Nakajima, twice a winner at this event, and coming through the Ford chicane to start his lap.
I think for the moment, clear track ahead of him. Haven't seen too many cars come past the window before him, so at least the first sector of the lap should be pretty good in terms of clearness of the track. And ultimately, the Toyotas don't have a
Random
huge amount
park
of competition unless things go wrong for them.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I noticed them queuing
Create new
in
instance. Get
the main
random
lap,
performance
attempt
base.
to
I'm
have
picking
a
random.
clear
The list of installed
traffic,
parts. Okay,
but
it's
of course
greater
you
than
always get
1.
the dribs
Add
and
that to the
laps
list
coming
of
out pit lane
selecting.
3 minutes later.
Okay, then
come
select it
across,
from
but
that
he seems to have
list.
got through the
Okay,
first
and then
sector
using
nice and
type
clean.
selected.
And on the Mulsanne,
I should really
hopefully you
turn
always
this into a
meet your traffic on the
the
straights
method.
and just blast past them. and have nothing in the corners, because you could overtake 7 cars at Le Mans and have a clear lap because you get them on all the straights, but when you get them in the Porsche
Okay,
curves,
I get all this selected.
Peter took us
Get
through
all
it,
parts
up to
available.
340 odd kilometers now with a little bit of a slipstream, flat out in 6th gear.
So yeah, no, he obviously has to find his braking point, which he'll know exactly where it is. Nice wide exit there, slightly touch that curb, run off the road on the left-hand side, leaving the chicane, and similar to the next one. You're just using every inch road that you can.
Yeah, I don't think quite, obviously being the first day of running for the cars, it's also the first day of running for us as a technical crew putting up our cameras. We don't have cameras all the way around the circuit today because of the fact that was a public road yesterday, and you can see the autumnal leaves on the right-hand side, very different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an unusual sight. You know, it's what, 30 degrees here, yet there's these leaves blown around everywhere, coming off the trees already.
So yeah, the RF links down the far end of the circuit, not quite in, well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. We'll find out as we ride on board now with who's in this particular car. It looked like it was going to be Antonio Felix da Costa.
Roberto,
Yeah, Roberto in there. So yeah, we're losing the cars as they leave the first chicane, and we'll pick them back up as they come into the Porsche curves. The circuit itself, though, looks very, very clean, considering there was cars on it yesterday. The surface looks really well prepared.
Yeah, I think in general it does, as you say. You know, there's not been any rain for a while, so that's the thing. If it did rain now, it'd be super slippy. But yeah, I think it's been, they obviously will have cleaned it as well. So the only unknown is the road part of the circuit. But yeah, we've had the other classes out already, the road to Le Mans, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's been a good mixture of cars. It's the ideal conditions. So we're going to have some quick running.
And more, the intense schedule means that we don't have the opportunity really to reopen the road to traffic. In some years, depending on how the schedule is placed, the road reopens and allows public cars and trucks to go along it, basically dirtying it again for the next day, whereas we're running till midnight. Presumably the road won't open through overnight at all. So,
this would be part of the random
clean,
one.
clean all the way
This
through.
would still be part of the random one, because it's still randomizing what it's selecting.
Yeah, I think so. No, it opens at night. Okay, so they do open it up. So we're still going to get the odd lorry with diesel and smoke and so on, dropping oil on the track.
There's shaking heads and there's nothing.
No, we've got to be with 6 people and
people in 6 different opinions.
Well, we're not sure then.
The trucks aren't allowed to run after 8 o'clock. They're the union rules.
Yes.
So at least we won't have trucks leaking oil down the Mulsanne. That's good enough.
There was talk from that Porsche report that you were talking about earlier that this could be the fastest race ever because the extra night time instead of your standard sort of 9 hours.
Okay, I want to see what this generates.
13 hours of darkness. Obviously,
I want to see what this generates.
cars,
Okay.
particularly with turbocharged cars,
This
or
should
any
work
engine, is
better
gonna run faster during
in
the
terms of
night.
selecting
So
parts,
could be if the rain doesn't
because
come,
it's not
could be one of the
choosing
fastest
ones
ones
that
because of the
are
rain in
just,
September.
you know, just
One
stock.
of the other things that was kind of pointed
So
out,
I think we should
I think,
get more
we've all felt last night
variation. So
was
let's check that
the
out.
transition between night and day is shorter at this time of year, but the colour and the orangeness and the slightly lower sun will have a big impact on those cars going down the Mulsanne.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. You know, you've got to prep the correct visor.
Okay, so I'm only checking the
Close car nowadays, but you have to think about what visor you're going to put on and at what stage. You know, it might be that you're in for a double,
this,
triple
because
stint.
this is the only
and,
one that can have
it's very
multiple.
different in
Okay, that has
like
none.
an hour and a half's time, so you have to think
What about this
where
one?
you need your visor, what colour you need your visor.
No.
And, you know, height accordingly. And,
No.
and it can
God
be
damn
very
it.
difficult, and especially if your stint begins when the sun
God
is
damn it.
already very low and you're straight into it.
Did it not select
Yeah,
anything?
it's one of those things as a driver, that's what people make money for, right?
The one thing that I really love about their different stats, the last one, no pollen. Because isn't it the thing when you come to the
Interesting,
market, you
interesting,
have hay
very
fever,
interesting.
You just
Okay.
dread the fact you're just going to be slightly tired and screaming.
Selected
throughout the
part.
whole
It
week.
doesn't
I certainly do.
say
I
what
remember
the
Kareem
selected
was a
part
big
is, so
advocate for that.
Yes, he was always loaded up on
okay, get list of
Advil or
installed.
whatever, It's Perrotin.
Irritating, yeah. The pollen was never a problem for me, but I'm going to miss the smell. What the drivers are going to miss, sorry, the smell of coming through the Porsche curves with the barbecues, which of course we've got no spectators. So many things are different, but yeah, and going back to that, as we watched the Porsche come through the first corner into the Dunlop chicane, the interesting fact about that Porsche report was that not only the engine's going faster because there's longer night hours, but also the fact that they're going to run maybe up to 4 or 5 stints longer on the softer night tyre. Okay. So obviously the softer night tyre is quicker, you've got more grip, because they run a softer tyre in the night time, the track temp's cooler. This could have a huge, make a huge difference, because some cars actually run well in the night.
Oh damn it, I forgot to call these guys. Fuck.
Swing goes towards that.
Shit. Alright, well, that was a bit disappointing. Damn it.
Will take longer for the track.
I was supposed to call the bank.
So it might be up to run
Alright, I gotta call them Monday.
softer tyre
Fuck.
until
Alright.
quite late on, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
God damn it.
This could have a huge bearing on the
Alright,
race.
A rule that I think I knew or know is that you can't do more than a double stint in GT on a soft tyre. You're not allowed
Okay,
to.
I'm gonna try that again.
Rules by Michelin, I think. Can anyone else shake their head about that, or no? That is a rule, and I heard it from actually my teammate. He told me about it. So my teammate next week is here racing in one of the cars, Matteo Caroli. So yeah, obviously independently, but I'll be supporting him because he's a quick wee Porsche factory driver, and I'll spend a lot of time with him again next week.
Jimmy Bruni giving us a wave on the camera there, just getting ready to get in the car.
Yeah, confirmation that is the case. Only two stints allowed on each tyre.
Applying
So
bumper
can't
front.
go more than 2, but 2 would be
S1
nice and
bumper
comfortable.
front for SE2.
This
Which
is
one
out
is
the window
this? I don't see
because,
that.
My weather app says
What
it's
the
definitely going to rain
where-
overnight
where
at
is
some
it?
point. So we're never going to.
Which
I don't
one?
think we're going to get a fully dry race. If we do, I'll eat my hat, and we'll be very, very lucky because.
Oh,
it does look
maybe
like
I
the
just
weather
don't
is
see
being
it.
pushed a little bit further north than first thought. So we might see the edge of it rather than the very heart of the storm, which I was kind of looking forward to having lightning and thunderstorms. We've had it before here at Le Mans during the race. It does provide pretty pictures if nothing else.
Does it makes it's wide open, and as I said, from the driver's point of view, it's a blasting.
Maybe it's this one? I don't know, it's hard to tell. This one? No. What the hell, man? I don't see shit. Yeah, I don't see anything. What the fuck?
And I've got my eye on him. And I think he's quite a special talent, and for some reason,
This thing is applying it.
he's something quite special. So it'll be interesting to see how he makes that car jump up the field with a spin there for. Which car's that?
That's the 38 car.
Yeah. I think it was Gustavo in that car, wasn't it?
Ricardo Rodriguez in that car, just losing the rear end. Roberto
Gonzalez. Yeah.
Ricardo's the brother.
Yeah. So yeah, Roberto is the silver driver. In LMP2 you have to have a silver driver, and then you can have your 2 pros. All drivers will have a equal amount of running, and Gonzalez is very experienced driver, does a very good job, but just looping it round there on the exit of Tête Rouge.
I think he might have just dropped the wheel on the entry, and that's just unsettled it. But he got away with it, and he'll learn from that. That's the important thing. When you don't hit the wall, you learn from your mistake, and you don't do it again.
But I don't see that. Oh, what the fuck, man?
Makoviecki,
What the fuck?
In the 91 Porsche, just gone P1 in the GT Pro class with a 353.63. Fred is ex-teammate of yours, no, Peter?
Unless, oh man, I have to like,
Yep.
what I could do is make sure it's creating a new vehicle spec sheet. Which is what it's doing. It's doing that here. So what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening?
GT1 World Championship. So it's a funny old world. How it changes around. Obviously a bit younger than us, but you know, supremely quick. And I remember having good battles with him in the Chinese race. So that was that one that we did in outer Mongolia.
Yes.
We raced.
GT1 World Championship, yeah.
Yeah.
Both Porsches, 91 and 92, looking very good actually. Makoviecki P1, Van Thor, Lawrence Van Thor. Then
What? Did it not do that? What? What?
The 97
Huh?
Aston Martin, followed by the first Ferrari, Daniel Serra, who's a winner, race winner with Aston Martin a couple of years back. Very good Dunlop test.
Oh, did it not finish? Probably not.
Very good tyre developer.
Ooh, I think there was an error.
Very good at setting up.
Oh, there's definitely an error.
Gilles Gounon was one of the drivers we
Okay.
didn't see in the first session.
Index was
in
out of
free
range.
practice one. He's now getting his laps in the Risi competition on Ferrari.
Okay, let's see what this
And
is.
running, being able to pace himself with that Porsche as well. That's nice to have a car, something coming either off the car or off the curb there.
Type
for
other
Ted
parts
Rouge. But,
to
nice to be able to pace
modify.
yourself with a car in front to know kind of where you're stronger and less strong, Peter.
Yeah, definitely. It's you know, obviously it's nice running on your own as well, but it's good to be able to look and see where the other cars have the advantages. You can report it. You probably carry your cameras, so your team can also see.
Oh,
where
if
the
it
advantages
doesn't,
for each car
then what do I
are,
do?
and it backs up your story when you have to report back to your team and say, okay, we need to improve here and here, and it can help with the development of the car.
And there is the TF Sport, what a team of so much success over the years since in 2012 I ran with Tom Ferrier as a driver.
Greater than
and,
zero.
he was my team owner at that time with a team which was not TF Sport, and since then getting involved with Aston Martin and being able to take European Le Mans Series victories, WEC victories, British GT champions as well, and supporting this Turkish entry.
And just ahead of him we saw the all-lady lineup, Sophia Flores at the wheel in the Richard Mill Racing Team car. Currently, where? But she's around about 10. First time for her at Le Mans. I think the whole crew is a rookie crew now, and quite nice to have an all-female lineup with women in motorsport becoming a big thing. The W Series this year we've seen. Jamie Chadwick, the past champion.
Applying. Okay, yeah, see it's applying stuff, but I want to see, make sure.
Good drivers in their own rights. Sophia competing in FIA Formula 3 this year, and as we go down the second Busan Straight, I think that might be Daniel Serra in front. There's one other point about Daniel is he's the only GT Pro driver to ever win with two
No, one of these is nitrous.
factories, one with Ferrari and one with Aston Martin.
He was Brazilian stock car champion.
Yes, he was before, yeah.
So he's
A very competitive
What the
champion.
fuck, man?
to
It
win
says
it.
it's
Yeah.
applying
It's a mega
louvers,
championship
but
that
I don't
Europe
see
we just don't
shit.
get to see enough of. The
Bumper
South
front
American
S2
championships, both in
default.
Argentina and in Brazil, are just fantastic, and names throughout the grid that you would have heard of, whether it be ex-Formula 1 drivers or touring car drivers and GTs, but unfortunately there isn't the platform in Europe any longer to be able to kind of enjoy those races, because they are brilliant when you get to see them live.
Yeah, I think any sort of one-make championship like that always brings out a real competitive edge. Although I think they're all silhouette cars, so the cars are all the same.
But yeah, supported by different manufacturers.
Yeah.
but the
Yes.
engines will be different.
Berthon in the number 3 Rebellion has just improved to a 23.17. Now only 2 seconds off the leader. Quite a good improvement by 7/10.
Alex Brundle out in the United Autosports favoured machine, now into 5th position. That was an improvement a couple of laps ago. It's the sister car of Duresta at the wheel at the moment.
Yeah, I see what it
which
is.
is second fastest. But there's a huge gap between the time that was set early doors by Nick de Vries and United Autosports for first and second, and between 3 seconds I don't really know how to explain that at the moment, Jamie.
It's probably one's had new tyres and the other not. Maybe.
Or you just got a clear lap. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you just get lucky and you get a clear lap, and it's very difficult to get an absolutely clear lap here.
Impressive that 27, only 6 seconds off the Toyotas at the moment. But yeah, if maybe you had a new tyre run and you had plenty, as one of them, Jota cars goes off, I think. Is that Gonzalez again? But yeah, one maybe Nick de Vries just got that, lucky clear lap, new set of boots, and hooked it all up, and has done a great job, and pulled the rest as maybe just keeps hitting traffic, so they just keep focusing on the race run.
As long as you are in the top 5 in our qualifying session at 5:15 local time, then you have another chance to get pole position in the Hyperpole session tomorrow. Brand new for the 2020 edition of Le Mans. And I'll tell you what, that qualifying session this afternoon is going to be incredibly hard for everybody to follow, whether it be a fan, a commentator, or the TV director, to know where the fast laps are coming in just 45 minutes with 59 cars. No thanks, I'll hand that over to Martin and the other team to try and follow. As you can see, we get the cars back into our views through the Porsche curves. That's where the cars come back to our view. And
just gives you a little impression there of how much time the P2 car can lose behind a Porsche. I mean, Ferrari. That car's moving quickly. McNeil's very experienced driver around here. Yeah, the P2 car's just tucked up behind, losing 2-3 seconds, and that's where the time loss is, and that can very well be that difference between the 4th and the 6th place car.
Quite often find in P2 or P1, if you catch a GT car in the slower corners, especially like the last Ford chicane, you don't actually lose that much because the GT cars are a bit softer. Downforce is not so important in that slow type of corner, and you might just lose a couple of tenths. Whereas if you catch them in the 5th gear, 150 mile an hour plus corner, curves, the difference there can be up to 40 miles an hour or 80 kilometers. So you just see your delta on your dashboard just swinging away, -1, -2, -3, and this is
very interesting.
Can't take a risk. I mean, until the
All right, I gotta be right back.
get going with the LMP2 and 1 cars start using the outside of certain sections of the Porsche curves, it starts to rubber up. Then you start to lose less time, but that doesn't happen until the race. So, and they're not going to take too much risk in this second session.
Yeah, the frustration tends to build though gradually.
Yes.
As you might have got a pretty clear lap, and you get to the Porsche cars, you're nearly at the end of the lap, and you know you're on a good lap. As the E2 sticks it up the inside there.
not a lot of awareness from the Ferrari, which was kind of in the middle of the road there, and not really giving the P2 car any idea of what he was doing.
Difficult, that one, because you've got a sort of right-hand kink, which is flat, but in a GT car it's quite difficult to keep the car on the right-hand side.
Well, the P2 car was probably a mile back going into that,
exactly.
and then suddenly it's there, and yeah, I think the driver of the GT car just didn't even know he was there.
Thomas Fleur was in the 54 car, which he shares with Giancarlo Fisichella. That car's second in class right now, after Giancarlo was out early doors. Interesting to see, we've got a notice on our timing screens for track abuse, or track limits abuse for the 89 machine. We actually had a reprimand in the first session for a particular car, which, because the internet's not working in our booth at the moment, it doesn't play. It was 66 JMW, okay. And in fact, we had 3 decisions in free practice one of which was for contact. There was some contact that we didn't see between 24 and 30, and there was a reprimand given for that as well.
Sophia Flores just crossed the line with a 3:35.2, 2 green sectors, so that's a little improvement for that car. I wonder how that IDEC car is. Ah,
there he is.
There he is.
Well, it looks good from that angle, doesn't it? But it was the front right that took the majority of the impact. And as they swing that into the garage, we might get a better look to see exactly how much damage it is. No, it's all nicely covered up.
Yeah, but I think you'll find that, it's fairly slow corner, second, third gear for them where he's crashed. the chicane on the Mulsanne, and as long as that chassis is okay, they're going to put a new corner on it, stick a new nose on it, and off they go. I'm not quite sure if the rear end has got any damage on the right-hand side, but the front end generally is quite an easy repair. And they can, we'll see in the race, these guys, the guys that have unfortunate accidents, the rear looks okay there. I can see it.
Oh,
and
no.
a big crash with the 17 car.
And that is Dwight Merriman in the IDEX Sport, another IDEX Sport.
So that's in the Porsche cars, isn't it?
And that's a big shunt.
That's on the left-hand side of karting, right?
Yeah, it's the exit of karting.
Oh, you can see the airport behind.
Yeah, and he's come out on the exit. You can see these yellow rumble strips on the outside here. He's obviously looped around the cars. He's not got enough opposite lock on, and he's hit the left-hand side wall. Quite a common accident here. Last Porsche Curves karting corner is off camber on the exit from apex to exit is off camber, and a very difficult corner, one of the trickiest corners on the track, and very fast. Just a tiny lift in these cars, if maybe in qualifying nearly flat, and you can see him. He's got out of his own accord, but he's clambering over the barrier there. But that will be a big one. Eduardo Freitas stuck the red flag out straight away, and let's hope he's okay. But that is absolutely a nightmare.
The last thing you wanted to do. Yeah.
A nightmare.
Yeah, and this is the car that needed to get 30 laps in for their 3 drivers that needed 10 laps each. Jonathan Kennard being one of those that we can see. And it doesn't look like he's done many. He was ready earlier on to get into the car, but unfortunately not for the rest of the day, or at least not for the rest of this session, with an hour and 18 a minute. Of course, it's a free practice, so the time will continue to tick away.
I mean, the team normally, you've got your 2 crews, so you're covered. The crew on the 17 car will start repairing. Normally, you might let that other car continue running, and you steal a couple of mechanics, just to help out to repair the first crash.
Yeah.
And now, of course, your second car comes back with a corner gone and huge damage, and really, that's a tough one for the team. Really tough.
And let's face it, you actually never have enough time. Doesn't matter how much time you've got, unless it's a full-on day you've got. You always can make the car better, always repair it. That take more time to repair it. So what he's done is he's hasn't straightened the wheel on the exit. He's tried to keep legal, because obviously if you run the car out there, you're abusing the track limits. And yeah, instead of straightening the wheel, he's had a bit of lock on, swapped ends, and ended up on the inside in the wall.
And that can be a multitude of different things. That could be him reacting to another car, trying to keep away from a faster car perhaps, maybe contact, or maybe simply just holding the lock on too long.
As Jamie said, you can't really see it from this angle, but that whole corner is off camber, and so it's so slippery through there. It does the car either wants to understeer wide off the track, or it wants to swap ends with you, depending on your setup. So, and we're fairly early in the running for the weekend, let's say. So yeah, maybe the track's not fully up to grip.
And of course, as we just mentioned, all 3 drivers are rookies to here. They would have had to do their sim sessions, but they will be getting their first laps for real around the track. And so, those kind of things happen when you are a newbie to Le Mans.
Yeah, it's such a tricky, like we said, first day of running. He's not up to speed, and they've tried to push too soon. Such a shame. And IDEC, Dwight, who's crashed the car, they were in Daytona. Nick Manassian did Daytona 24 hours with the ERA team, I think it was, and he met these guys, and they said, we want to do Le Mans, and here they are with the IDEC team. So first time for IDEC, I think, running 2 cars at Le Mans, which was a huge undertaking, having spoken to Nick a few times, to put it all together in a relatively short space of time. Dwight and co owned the car, so it wasn't IDEC's car, but being run under the IDEC banner, and yeah, such a shame to lose. It's the most critical time. We've got an hour and 15 minutes left. In an hour and 15 minutes, you're going to be doing 15 laps or so, and those extra 15 laps, everyone is so important, and the next driver getting in has now lost that. And yeah, tricky one. It's you want to push, but you just cannot afford to have that shunt on the practice sessions, you know, because it's so costly. But it happens to the best of us. I'm sure we've all done it, and they'll fix the car and they'll be in the race and they'll be okay.
Well, they did a total of 22 laps in FP1 and have done a total of just 7 laps so far in this session. So potentially they were not far away from getting their allocation in, depending on how and which driver was in the car at which point. They still probably would have to do some night running though, and the only opportunity to do night running would be this evening. So really kind of critical to make sure you get those cars out for the practice session tonight, because without night running, then you may not be able to qualify.
Yeah, I think for the rookie drivers, just Le Mans it's not that bad, because Le Mans is actually lit up and the corners are all, there's good lighting. You know, when you do Spa 24, Nürburgring 24, N24, things like that, it's really dark. Here, it's not so bad. It's a bit like Daytona. The straights are dark, but it's not horrendous. So luckily nowadays with all clever technology, the lights are all, you're guaranteed your lights are good. Whereas, you know, 10 years ago you had to up a bit on the left mirror light. So it'll be okay, and as long as they take it nice and easy with their first night laps on race day, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, but on the other side, the rules are there for a reason, and if you can put the car on the wall right now in the middle of the broad daylight in perfect conditions,
yes,
then yeah, you really need to get some night running to be sure that you can, unless that driver is not gonna, he's gonna sit out the night time completely. But you know, that puts a lot of strain on the 2 other drivers, and we see from the car that's just gone in the wall, the Kennard car, they're all rookies here, so they definitely need some running in the night.
So we will go back to green flag conditions in 8.5 minutes time. That will give us just over an hour's worth of running of this free practice 2 session before a very short break, and then we go into the qualifying session, the full qualifying session of 59 cars. So making sure everything is good for the end of the session, as we still actually got cars making their way slowly around the circuit. The Toyota there being followed by the safety car, not allowed to run at any faster than 80 kilometers an hour to get back to the pits, and therefore is maybe had just
Alright,
come out
I'm
of
going
the
to
pits
take
when
a little
the
break.
flag flew, and that's why it's taken such a long time to get round. But a little bit of barrier repair, not Armco barrier, but the wrapping around the tyres needs to be fixed on the inside there at karting. And
well, that's a good sign. The fact that we're going to get up and running again fairly soon, it means that the barrier's not too bad. It means the damage of the car is not too bad.
Yeah, as you can see, it's just literally just peeled away some of the tyre stack from the concrete wall.
The marshal here on the exit of karting, sticking in some new flappies, we call them. They're little flappy rubber things that try to deter you from
Okay,
using
I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to be out for maybe an hour or 2. I'll be right back.
Remove it on lap
Well,
one,
not right back. I'll be gone for an hour or 2. Eating food.
Presumably they don't do a lot of damage